Hi, it's Michael Kerr here, presenting Small Business Banter. A healthy micro and small business sector means a successful economy and a more vibrant society. Small Business Banter is about helping regional business owners better prepare for current challenges, but also for the next stage of business success. I'm Michael Kerr, founder of Kerr Capital, advisors to business owners. Each week, I interview a fellow small business owner or an expert, and they share their stories, their lived experiences, the wins and the losses, and their best advice to help you, the listener, get the most you can from your own business. Small Business Banter is brought to you from the studios of 104.7 Gippsland FM and is heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network. And thanks also to Kerr Capital, supporters of the show. Welcome into another edition of Small Business Banter Community Radio and Podcast. I think this is up to about, I should know exactly, but up to about 125 in terms of episode numbers. Really delighted to welcome in Zhanna Gee, who is going to chat to us about a couple of businesses she's created, why she created them, what she's learned along the way. And so I'm really excited to welcome in Zhanna. Thanks for making time to come on and chat.
Yes, thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Look, you've got a terrific story to tell. So I'll let you just, if you could give us a minute or two on your personal background that I think is all part of the mix of ending up where you are with a couple of businesses and and eyes on some more, I think.
Yeah, sure. Look, just a little bit about myself. I came to Australia back in 1996. I was born in Latvia, and my future pretty much was mapped out by my father, and my future was meant to be in German-speaking country. So I lived in Germany for a couple of years, and then I moved to Switzerland, and I went to school there. And then due to situation that was presently in Latvia, my parents' lives have changed, so they decided to move to Australia. And me being an eldest daughter, I was kind of the first one that was plonked in Australia by myself back in 1996. So I didn't know any word of English. I think I just turned 18.
Wow.
And I pretty much hated my life. I called my dad at one point because he was back in Latvia, and I did tell him that he ruined my life. I had my whole life planned in Switzerland. I had a boyfriend then, being 18. So I had to start my new life in Australia. But now, 20 plus years being here. I love it. I have a family. I call it home. My parents are here. My sister is here. So
you've reconciled with your father? You've forgiven your father?
Yes, he's actually he's a fantastic man. Yes.
So what is what does life look like now, particularly and the businesses that you're involved with? You've got a couple that I'm aware of. Do you want to talk about just those in a brief way, and then we'll get into our chat about how you got started and in those businesses?
Sure. To be honest, it's pretty hectic. I think for the maybe last 2 to 3 years, I was in a really good space. Running the business, I felt on top of the world. I had a great team. But I think, especially with one business in particular, we're in health and wellness. So we're in supplements. We heavily regulated business in a heavily regulated industry. And I've been running this particular business for over 10 years. I honestly think I just got burnt out. And
you started from scratch, that business?
I started from scratch. I actually started out of my own pain. I've been in a couple of car accidents, which resulted me in not wearing high heels for a little bit. And then my weight, I always did struggle with my weight. And I think back then, about 10, 11 years ago, I got to the point where I urgently needed to look at my weight situation and make a decision. So that's how the whole Slim by Nature has started. Researching the magic pills, the weight loss solutions, anything and everything that's been, out in the world. I think I've tried it all. And that's how Slim by Nature was born.
Wow, yeah, that is, right from a very personal situation, and you became your own laboratory, trying all sorts of things to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And I'm guessing not really inclined to give up and say, oh, it's too hard. You just did. You had to find a solution, a product that kind of worked for you. Was that what drove you to some kind of a breakthrough?
Yeah, so I found a product that I trialed on myself. It did work greatly for me, and then I sourced a manufacturer. Back then it was in US, and I literally started my first order. I remember it was maybe 50 units, one SKU, and back then, again, Facebook was just about to start. There was no word of Instagram, so the best way for me to get new clients was the usual, the road shows, the expos. So I would travel, 4, 5, 6 times a year with suitcases full of brochures and whatnot, and exhibit at beauty spas and beauty expos. And this is actually where I call him a med professor, and we're amazing friends till today. He looked at my formula and he just said, I can do a better formula for you, darling. I'm like, really? Okay. And that's how I literally got my first local supplier. And from that day, as I said, it's been 10, 11 years now. He still guides me and helps me with different formulas. And we've created, dozen formulas since then. And yeah, he's a trusted advisor. Yes.
Yeah. It's so important in the creation, but this, how you sustain a business is to tap into wise, experienced individuals or organisations. So that business today, what are some of the metrics? Is it you've got your subcontract out manufacturing, and you still involved personally in selling, or you've got some staff?
So that business, I think I was quite naive when I actually walked into this particular industry. Now looking back, I could have done million different things, and they would have been easier. But I think it's, when you're actually in the game, you just think, oh my God, you're just one step closer, you're nearly there, and you just keep on going. It's one step at a time. And all of a sudden you look back and it's 10 years and you've been doing it.
I often think,
as I said,
I often think if you knew all those steps, you probably wouldn't do it.
No, as I said, I could have done anything, and so there's so many things that are easier and less regulated, and you can run Facebook ads and you can do Google ads, and you can talk about the product freely and what it does, where in supplements you really have to be careful. It's all about the claims and what you actually tell the client what the product can do. That's where the old difficulty, and you have to be super careful here.
Yeah. But what's your mission, your drive for others in this business? I mean, lots of people listening and that I know are in business. What's your personal motivations for for staying in this business?
In this particular industry as well?
Yeah.
For me, when I first started the business, it was just me, right? So a solopreneur. And I think the fact that our formulas do work. So if you pick the business, you have to have the right heart for it. For me, it was not mainly about making the money. It was more about, I've got amazing product. all I have to do is share the knowledge and the product with you. You have to follow what we have created, and you'll have the success. So for me, it was a passion. It was really just this desire to help any woman who needs to have that help with weight. What I also, throughout the journey, what I also have learned that so many women are actually depressed of how they look, how they feel about themselves. And normally we do have quite a lot of masks that we wear, right? You know, we have families, we have businesses, or we're working, we are employed. But if we do have, if we carry this massive suitcase in our head on, and constantly worry about how we feel and how we look and how uncomfortable we are because of the weight, it eats up a lot of energy. It eats up a lot of your resources that you could be using someplace else and doing something amazing with your life. Yeah, you've got no wings to fly. You're just not yourself. So for me, a liberation of going back to who you know you are, by removing the clutter and removing all this heaviness in your head about how bad and how bad you feel and what weight you carry. It's, for me, it became like almost a mission. I wanted for women to feel that electrifying feeling. I wanted them to live the life. I wanted them to go on the beach and play with their kids. I wanted them to wear the dress and the heels. So for me, I was really compassionate. And as I said, every time I would pick up a phone call and speak to a customer, I knew exactly the pain points they were going through, because I went through the same pain points. So for me, it became more of a consultancy, even though I was selling the physical product. And then that's pretty much how we grew. We grew from word of mouth. Even today, I've reduced all my Facebook ad spend to a minimum, because we do have a word of mouth, people coming to us because someone has recommended our program or our service. And we're seven-figure business. We've helped thousands and thousands of people across the world. So we actually ship the product across the world, and we do have a very strong community of women, of nearly 8,000 women in a private Facebook community who on a daily basis do interact with us. We help them. We run lives. We talk about different topics. It's not just the weight loss. It's actually just chatting to women and talking about life. Weight loss and weight management is just something that, unfortunately, many of us have to go through.
Yeah. So again, it's very striking where it comes from for you. That very from a personal place, and it shapes the reason for wanting to start a business and do something about it. Does it help or hinder sustaining the business? I mean, or do you have to layer on other things? You talked about having a trusted advisor or mentor. Maybe I do want to just reintroduce Zhanna Gee's chatting with me today on Small Business Banter. And do you want to talk about sustaining the business and what you've learned and what you've what resources and people you've tapped into? Because it's the same challenge over and over for a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. They start something, drive, you carry the cases, you go do the sale, you go across the country, but then there's some point where you've got to start to you do start to question and think about, well, how do I keep maintaining this? What did you do?
What did I do? When you start the business and when you actually start building and growing the business, you're so close, you're so attached to it, and you trust no one but yourself, right? Because you just feel like no one else can do it better than you. And it gets to the point where, again, hopefully with some help outside, and there's plenty of resources you can tap into, with some help outside, you can learn about yourself that you can't actually run the business on your own. You need to have the right people. You can't know everything. I mean, I studied accountancy in university and I hate accounting. So obviously I need to outsource that person. But I think the dilemma is, how do you actually negotiate that within yourself? That how do you release the control and hire the right people who can run certain operations for you, and you can still have and achieve the goals that you have been achieving, if not more, by yourself. So again, tap into the resources with the right business clubs, the right people. And that's what I had to do. I had to literally negotiate for a couple of years with myself that I need staff to help me. And I started growing my team from dispatch to admin to financial controllers, and the PR and marketing. So I do outsource a lot, but my team is small, but we've got nutritionists and naturopath on board. We've got a PA, we've got a marketer on board. And that's what you need to make a decision to take the leap and start trusting others who know better in some aspects of the business, who can help you grow.
But before that, you said negotiate with yourself. So it's giving permission to say that if it's going to be successful, I need to let go. It's okay to let go. I need help. It's okay to get help. I like the way you framed that, negotiating with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So we roll forward now, and you recently started a second business. So I'd like to understand why one business isn't enough.
Why business isn't enough? You sound
not
like
that there's anything wrong. No, there's not that there's anything wrong with it. I actually love it, but I'm intrigued as to your thinking behind it. All power to you, by the way.
Yes. Look, it wasn't that one business was not enough. One business was, it's a big machine. It's a big vehicle that you need to drive. But I think what happened, we were in the middle of the lockdown, so COVID happened, right? I've got two daughters. One is 22 and one is 8. So during the lockdown, my back then 18-year-old, she was graduating year 12, and there was nothing in her nothing in her eyes that I could see that would excite her to go and live the life to the fullest, right? So I came from a different country. I traveled the world. I've seen people. I've tasted different cuisines. I love the world. I love the life, right? Because I was given the opportunity and I made it my life, and it's exciting. For my eldest daughter, who's extremely smart kid, to graduate high school and not willing to be anyone or doing anything. But I mean, it wasn't as dramatic, but I was scared that she'll get to the point where she will just stay in the house and won't have that burning desire to live a life. So it kind of prompted me to come up with this idea, and the second business was born. So Delicious Dreams is all about vision boards.
Delicious Dreams.
Have you done a vision board in your life? Yes.
No, but I will.
Look, a vision board is something that, you go to a news agency, you get a piece of paper and tons of magazines, and you just sit for a couple of hours and flick through the magazines, cut out whatever resonates with you, what you'd like to achieve in your life, and you glue it on your board, and hang it in your wall on your wall. So what we have created is, it's all in one kit, and basically it's a master vision board with 20 odd I call them dream sheets, and they're all full of different images. But the beauty about this particular kit is that You don't need any glues, you don't need any scissors, nothing. Everything is included. It's simply you peel off, it's a sticker image. You peel off the sticker that resonates with you or what you'd like to attract in your life, and you just stick it on your master vision board, and that's it. So I think Jasmine, who's my daughter, she gave me that out of fear, I think, that she's not going to learn about life and experience the life. I had to start thinking, and that's how the new business was born. It wasn't planned at all, trust me. No, It wasn't planned.
Yeah, but it sounds a bit like it came from a very personal place again, and that's an incredible motivation to want to do something. And are you on the same pathway, as in, have you learnt from business one and short-circuited some of the things that you might have, or have you picked up some learnings and gotten a bit faster to where you wanted to get to because you've had experience in another one?
I think so. I think the confidence, the fact that I can create, replicate something similar, just with a different product in a different industry, definitely is something that, I was heavily relying back on. And the fact that I already had an established team, of an amazing team of my girls. So I literally dragged them from Slim by Nature into Delicious Dreams, and to see the excitement of creating, because they've been every step of the way of creating the product. It took us 2.5 years to create the product. So to have that team behind you, the creative mind, the excitement, to see the excitement in them, everything happened maybe a little bit faster, and again, it's just, I think I'm a project based the way I'm built, so I like working on projects and seeing them completed.
A creator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like at a rudimentary business level, what you talked about then is, I think there's a lot of complementary skills that online marketing, I imagine, is a big part of Delicious Dreams. You're used to the process of outsourcing. You're comfortable with outsourcing. You've also got a team that you know and trust, and you can use them more effectively or more efficiently by saying, "Look, I've got it's another product line in in your own personal business." So that all makes an awful lot of sense. If it was starting a car restoration business, well, that's a million miles away. Nothing wrong with the car restoration business, but this seems to be quite, in some ways, complementary. So I think that's if we look at what we already know and what resources we already have, we can turn them to new ventures and new interests without really stretching too far. So well done. So what stage is that business at, Delicious Dreams?
So we launched Delicious Dreams back in January.
January of 2023.
You can find us 23, yes. So you can find us online. We're still fresh, very fresh business. It is a little bit different, and I think it's actually taking a little different journey as Slim by Nature.
Yeah.
Delicious Dreams is probably, I'm focusing my time that I have not necessarily on e-com as such, but looking for clients or offering this product to organizations. So vision boarding is an exercise where you could literally, get your team together and spend a half a day bonding through this exercise.
Yeah,
yes.
No, I like that. It's a highly e-commerce. Anything is highly competitive. That's a pathway to perhaps changing lives through that sort of bonding and group work. Look, Zhanna, we're kind of coming up to the end. I don't want to put you on the spot, but the reason I do this program is to to make it the pathway to small business ownership more of a reality. So for you, you're partway into your you've launched your second. I think you were also getting into another area of business advice, but you're to an entrepreneur or want to be soon to be entrepreneur listening in. What's your real couple of things to focus on to get them from where they are to being in business and having something?
Look, I think for me, again, and this is something I had to learn out of my own journey, don't spread too thin, right? So don't try to do everything. Don't try to create tons of products. Stay in your industry, stay in your niche, and just do one thing right, one step at a time. Look after your clients. I think customer service is so imperative, especially today. Sometimes if email doesn't work, pick up that phone call and speak to your clients. So just go back to basics and do the job properly, I think. There's no overnight success. Like we always would love to hear and read in newspapers, overnight success, this and that. It didn't come overnight. So people actually do work, don't sleep at night. And sometimes it takes years before you see those articles and you see those success stories. But for anyone who's starting is and surround yourself with the right people, be in the right environment.
I love it. Thank you so much, Zhanna, for sharing that. That is extremely good advice and gets away from all the hypey stuff. It's about committing and having realistic expectations. We'll post the link to your personal to the business websites on the notes for the show. Thank you so much for your time today, Zhanna.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
So that is all for today's episode of Small Business Banter. I continue to be inspired bringing you small business experts and other small business owners and hearing their stories. If you want to listen to any past episode, jump onto your podcast platform of choice and search Small Business Banter. There you will find a diverse and fascinating collection of small business owners and experts openly discussing and sharing their experiences. For any of the links, resources or information we've talked about on the show today, or to contact me, please head over to smallbusinessbanter.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And it would be great to have you tune in the same time next week for another episode of Small Business Banter.